What's up, guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 1997 BMW 328i Touring. Up front is a 2.8-liter inline-six, and down below is a swapped-in 5-speed manual transmission. Now, I am super excited to be driving this E36 wagon because we never got them here in the United States. We got the E36, of course, E36 M3, convertibles, all that stuff. I've reviewed a lot of them on the channel. But the Germans saved the wagon for their home market, or really the market of Europe, and we'll talk about that in a second. So it's super cool to be driving an imported German wagon here in the United States. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. But let's get back to that 2.8-liter inline-six under the hood. Well, that's actually quite an important and impressive part of this car, because over in Europe, they've always had very strict emissions regulations, longer than we have here in the States. And so there's always been a focus on lower displacement engines. You get taxed less, you pay less for them. So a 2.8-liter is pretty big. Most of these were sold with either 2-liter inline sixes or diesel engines. So 328 is kind of a big dog. Now, like I said, paired to it is a 5-speed manual that's been swapped in. However, over in Germany, this car came here to the States with a 5-speed automatic, which is still impressive. I feel like a lot of cars in this era were still doing 4 speeds, so 5 was definitely nice. And this manual transmission, although it was swapped in from another E36, is lovely to drive, shifts great, and I love the feeling of it. Last but not least, of course, the E36 wagon is rear-wheel drive. So how does it feel to drive an E36 Touring? Well, it drives like any other E36. Looking forward, driving with the controls, I don't really notice anything different, new, or exciting, at least compared to other E36s. Now, an E36 is one of the best driving vehicles of the 90s, in my opinion. The torque from the 2.8-liter is wonderful. You have definitely enough power to get around town. And when BMW said the ultimate driving machine, they really meant it. And that's very clear here in the 97 E36 wagon. Oh yeah, and this also has part of its exhaust yeeted out the window, so it's a little bit louder than normal. But boy, is it fun! Woo! Woo! Yeah. So that's about out of the way. Let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 4 gauges. Off to the left is my fuel and speedometer, and off to the right is my tachometer and coolant temperature. I do get a little digital readout, but nothing too crazy beyond that. Now, the steering wheel is not the original steering wheel to this vehicle. This is an E92 steering wheel, so can't comment too much on that. But off to the left, I do have a climate control vent with my headlight switches and front and rear fog lights. Moving on to the door, we have a speaker and my mirror adjustments, but no power window switches found here. Moving into the center, we get the giant classic E36 vent. Very, very synonymous with this car. Then we do have our radio, our business CD player, favorites, AM, FM, all of that stuff. Then we have our climate controls, obviously in Celsius because this is a German market vehicle. However, it is dual zone, which is fantastic for 1997. Then we have an information center. So BMW did this for quite some time, going back to the E30, and so you get some really good information in this. Now, can I read it? No, it's in German, but cool nevertheless. Then we have a little cubby, and we have a cigarette lighter, heated seats, ASC, and of course heated seats for the passenger. Then we come down to the shifter. Like I said, the actual shifter itself is not factory. It doesn't even have the right shift knob because it says 6-speed even though it's actually a 5. But we have our power window switches down here as well, so you'll love to see that. Hazard switch, ashtray, handbrake, and a built-in telephone. So this E36 wagon came from the factory with a built-in phone. Very showing of the times here in 1997. Then we do have a little armrest, meaning we don't get any factory cup holders, so predictably, the 328 Touring from Germany fails the big friggin' bottle test. Now we have to talk about the seats and seat belts. So this car got a special package that was reserved for Germany only, and it's called the Boa Boa package. They did these red seats. They also did blue. Here are some blue Boa Boa seats, but they are comfortable. They have this really cool, very 90s pattern on them, which I absolutely love and I adore. However, pushing it even further, these have special seat belts that were a dealer option. So you would take this to your local BMW dealer in Germany and say, hey, I want those extra special seat belts, and they would go, sure. And they gave you these, which these are authentic because they have the genuine tags on them. A lot of people try to copy these seat belts and make aftermarket ones, but these are real, baby. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats. So let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 1997 BMW 328i Touring, and a couple of things to note. First of all, the Boa Boa seat design carries on through the back, which is fantastic. A lot of designer cars do the front seats and then say to the heck with it with the back seats. So very nice to see that stuff. The seat belts carry on as well, and I do have power windows. Now I say that because Matt and Tomas actually have a second E36 Wagon that is in blue. It's in need of repair, which is why I'm not filming it today, but it's a 320, so it has a 2-liter inline six and it has manual rear windows. So the 328, when you went up to that, actually does get power rear windows. So a fun little fact for you. In terms of space, headroom is good because I do have that higher roof because of the Wagon. Knee room, not amazing. Now, if I split my legs like the hussy I am, I fit fine, but it's not the most luxurious space I could imagine. And that's okay. Not everything has to be. Let's hop out. We'll take a quick look at the hatch, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, around the back of the E36 Touring, big chunky button right there, and pull up. Now, once we are in the back, there's two things I do want to talk about. First of all, it has this giant privacy cover, which is really nice to see, and it's hard to find actual working ones that still retract from this era. Tons of trunk space back here. As you can tell, this fell. But something really cool to note is that actually, due to European laws, you actually have to have a divider between your rear cargo area and the back seats. Very cool. I wasn't aware that that was actually legislation for a time. So definitely cool to see that here in the 328 Wagon. We do have some straps down here as well. You could sort of put something under there and strap it down. These are sort of like a rubbery strap, I guess, which is very cool. Other than that, nothing too crazy or out of this world, but definitely very cool to be an American in the back of a 328i Wagon. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and this is finished in Sierra Wrought Metallic. Very interesting paint color, but a very cool one at that, and another rare color adding to the rarity of this BMW. In this configuration, I can't imagine how many of these cars actually exist. So very cool to see that, and of course, being an American, we never got a wagon like this, but very cool to be driving something so rare and so unique looking, let alone how wonderful it drives. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving a German-imported BMW 328i Touring? Well, the German imported part is the important part of that sentence. BMWs are made in 3 different levels: German spec, Euro spec, and US spec. Now, of course, they do sell cars, and actually a very popular place in the world for BMWs is Japan, but those are Euro spec cars. It's an interesting distinction because Germany actually kept a lot of the good stuff for themselves. The 328 was for Germany, at least in the wagon form. The Boa Boa package was for Germany. And so I just wanted to comment on how kind of outrageous this car is. I know it might not outwardly seem like the most outrageous car I've ever featured here on the channel, but with the designer package, the Touring, the big engine for a regular non-performance car, this is one of a kind. And then you throw on top of that just how absolutely lovely it is to drive an E36. I mean, these cars, in my opinion, are dang near top tier when it comes to 90s vehicles. And so you throw all that rarity, you throw all that uniqueness into a bucket, you mix in the Sierra Wrought Metallic, mix it up around like the Powerpuff Girls intro, and boom, you have this car. And that is why I was so excited to take this car out. You just don't see much like this, and that's what I am trying to find here on the channel. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to my really good friend Matt for letting me take out his E36 wagon. Of course, with Tomas, they have been importing some of these awesome BMWs and been sharing them with me, and I can't thank them enough for doing so. They are absolutely wonderful. Matt and Tomas, I love you. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.